Hello Internet and welcome back to another Digimon card game deck profile. I'm here today with another blue deck. This is for the BT6 Japanese format and it is Azulongmon. So what's special about Azulongmon and how does it improve the Hex Bomb deck? Azulongmon is an OTK machine, to put it simply. It can smash through 4 to all of the security in one turn with the help of its friend Majuramon. It makes Blue a rather explosive deck that can take people by surprise and steal games really easily. So I'm just going to kick it straight off. We'll start with my Digitamer lineup. So most people play 4 Digitamer and then 1 wildcard Digitamer. But for this deck, there are actually 2 really good Digitamer. First one that I'm playing is going to be Ikakumon. Ikakumon is a new Digitamer from BT6. She says once per turn, if one of your opponent's Digimon's Digivolution cards is trashed, you get to trigger to draw 1. Which is really useful. So if you remember in BT5, we got a white Tamer named Tamer, and his effect was when you Digivolved, you could rest the Tamer to draw an extra card. And Ikakumon effectively serves the same purpose here because we have so many effects that trash Digivolution cards when we Digivolve. We basically draw 2, sometimes even 3 cards just from Digivolving because we're trashing Digivolution cards as we go up. So yeah, Ikakumon is definitely my first pick for Digitamer. The second one I'm playing is Wanyamon. Wanyamon is really good because our OTK from Azulongmon sort of hinges on your opponent having 2 Digimon out and you stripping them completely bare. So if you're going for the OTK, its conditions basically already met. And the 2000 DP really helps Azulongmon because Azulongmon's base DP is 13,000. And when your base DP is 13,000, you die to Omnimons and you die to the new Bond of Friendship and Bond of Courage and Security. So the plus 2000 pushes it to 15, which means you survive against them. The only thing that can really kill you is a Rogue Zwart or a Omnimon BT1, which both of them aren't really ran at the moment, unless you play against black, in which case if you hit it, it's unlucky because they don't run that many. So yeah, Wanyamon's there for that purpose. So the reason that we run a 3-2 split, we want to see Ikakumon in the early game because she's our draw power, she digs for our combo pieces, but we want to see Wanyamon to build our Azulongmon stack on, and we don't want to see it too late. And that's why we play 2, so that you're more likely to see Ikakumon in the early game. In fact, I think it's like an 80% chance to hatch a Ikakumon on your first turn. And then Wanyamon will appear on either the second or third, most likely, when you hatch. And this means that you'll have your extra DP bonus when you go for the OTK finally. So next we'll go on to the rookies. First, I am playing 4 Bullakomon and 4 Gomon. They both have exactly the same effect with just a slightly different play cost and a slightly different amount of DP. So what they both do is, during your turn, when you trash a Digivolution card from one of your opponent's Digimon, gain a memory. So this is really powerful for us because, like I said before for Ikakumon, we trash sources when we Digivolve. And if we do that, it reduces the cost of our Digivolutions by 1 for every Bluekomon and every Gomamon we have in a Digivolution card on the field. So it can make Paledramon a 1-cost Digivolution, it can make Majuramon a 2-cost Digivolution. If you have multiple, you can even make them free at some points. So they're really strong cards. You want these to be in your sources for your main stacks at all times. Generally, you want to Digivolve a blocker over them and just sort of sit it on your field and have it generate constant value throughout the game. And that's the reason we were at 8. We really want to see them in the early game to start pumping up our resources and taking advantage of memory. So we play 8 of that. Next, I'm playing 3 Madoki Batemon. Not only is it my favourite rookie, it actually is relevant this meta, which is amazing. So what it does is, all turns, your opponent cannot gain memory except with Tamer effects. Why is this relevant? The meta is Gabu Bond, so Gabumon Bond of Friendship, and Gizemon for the most part at the moment, and both of them like to gain memory. So Gabu Bond relies on having 3 memory to actually Digivolve into its Warp Digivolutions, so go up into Ancient Garurumon or go up into Gabumon Bond of Friendship. And if they don't have Davis, you can deny them the 3 memory they need by having Madoki Batemon on the field and stopping them using their blue memory boosts, stop them using their Hammer Sparks, etc. And for Gizemon, they like to make their costs cheaper by playing Systemon Noir off of Saviour Hackmon's effect and off of Gizmon's effect and gaining memory off of that. Medokibitmon shuts that down as well, which prevents them from using things like Judgment of the Blade to attack your Digimon on the field if they've Digivolved this turn. It makes them like have to choose between doing that. It also prevents their red memory boost if they happen to have one, which can stop them making some plays. And against various other decks, it stops all of their memory boosts as well, because memory boosts are quite popular right now. They're like the new spice that everyone's playing. And last but not least, I'm playing 3 Elecmon. The reason I'm not playing Gizamon instead of Elecmon is 2 reasons. The first reason, I really value the 2 cost on Elecmon. It lets me choke Galgamon Bond of Friendship decks so that they don't get to Digivolve, because if you leave them at 2, they're going to need some kind of memory boosting to actually get to Galgamon, and if you were on 1, you've left him at 1, it's a nice choke. Second reason I like him is you can, if you have 3 memory, drop him onto the board and immediately Digivolve him into Sealamon and not end your turn, so you get to keep playing. So it's just a really nice way to get a fast blocker out onto the board if you really need it. The reason that Gizemon might be around is because Gizemon is a new card from BT6 who says when you attack, during your turn, if your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolution sources, the Digimon that's attacking gains 2000 DP. So this is him. He's really solid in the same sense that Wanyamon is, that you can hit the nice 15,000 threshold on Azulongmon, but you generally like favor Digivolving Gomamon and Bluekomon in your raising area because you want to get them on top of the Chiaramons and get maximum value. So Gizemon often at times he kind of ends up sitting in your hand until the late game, and then you evolve it on a stack if you don't see Wanyamon, but he's kind of like a nice to have, whereas Elecmon's quite relevant right now just for the cheap play cost. So that's the reason we're playing Elecmon over Gizemon. It's just versatility. You might want to play Gizemon instead if you've got a meta where the 15,000 DP is super duper relevant and you're likely to hit Omnimons and stuff in your stack. Onto the champions. The spice of the deck, the best champion that Azulongmon could have asked for, Ikakumon from all the way back in BT1. So what does Ikakumon do? So it gives the inheritable effect. This Digimon can't be blocked by your opponent's Digimon without Digivolution cards. So it basically means Azulongmon's unblockable. He can't be blocked by blockers, and that's super relevant because, well, Gizemon plays Systemon Blank, who are blockers, and he gets them for free. Purple and Black are playing Rebellimon, who can like suicide vengeance your Azulongmon and kill him, and Ikakumon bypasses that. It also bypasses regular blockers as well that your opponent might throw out, because everyone plays blockers, and it would kind of kill our win condition if we couldn't swing at the face and not get chump blocked. So Ikakumon really helps like solidify a win con. You generally want it in the Digivolution cards of the stack you're trying to build towards Azulongmon with. So yeah, he's really solid. Next, we played 2 Paildramon. The reason we only played 2 is because generally when you Digivolve a rookie, you Digivolve it in your raising area, and in the raising area, effects don't happen. So Paildramon feels bad because you need a rookie on your field to actually strip sources with it. So the reason we play 2 is for like the tech. So if you happen to have a rookie out on the board because you brought it out last turn and you played a Tamer or something instead, you have the versatility of being able to strip 2 Digivolution cards and sort of take out those bigger stacks that have been hiding in the raising area and sort of strip them barer. But generally, we prefer using something like Howling Memory Boost to strip the sources at that point. So we'll just play 2 of them. It's also nice because it has synergy with Bulukomon and Gomamon as well as Chiaramon in order to gain memory and draw cards in the mid to late game. So yeah, he's just super nice for that kind of thing. Sometimes it can be really free as a Digivolution as well, like a 0 cost at some points. So yeah, just keep that in mind. He's just a nice tech. And then we play 5 blockers. We play 3 Sealamon and 2 Grizzlymon. The reason that I'm splitting my blockers is because the 6,000 on Grizzlymon is kind of relevant. If your opponent can't Judgment of the Blade on the Gizemon, and the Gizemon has Bow Hookmon in its sources, which is kind of likely because they search all the Hookmons, then Grizzlymon can survive against Bow Hookmon, whereas Sealamon can't, and so Grizzlymon can actually save you from lethal against Gizemon, so he's kind of relevant there. Azulongmon, he's played just for the 1-cost Digivolution. He's like a nice to have blocker in a pinch, but generally is to ladder up into Majuramon or Galgamon a turn sooner, which is really nice. If your meta doesn't really have much Gizemon, or he seems to keep getting hit by Judgment of the Blades anyway, you might want to cut Grizzlymon, max out on Azulongmon, and maybe add like a Lobomon or something, so you can have like a surprise Tamer attack or something. In testing, I found that Lobomon didn't really come up anymore, so I cut him for extra blockers. The reason we're playing 5 blockers instead of 4 is because generally in the early game we want to see blockers because we like to evolve them on top of our blue commons, and Gomamons are just kind of sit them there on the field, so they sort of generate value throughout the whole game. So that's the reason we play 5. Next up, our level 5 lineup. So first off, we play our Wincon Majuramon. So what Majuramon does is he trashes the top Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon. So yet again, he synergizes with Gomamon and Bluecomon, so he makes himself really cheap to Digivolve into, which is really nice. And also, you can draw 2 or 3 cards off of him because of Caramon. But the main reason we play him is his inherited effect. When attacking, once per turn, if your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolution cards, you can unsuspend this Digimon. This is insane. So, under Azulongmon, if your opponent has 2 Digimon on the field, just 2, and they don't have Digivolution cards because you strip them bare with your Paildramons, Majuramons, Azulongmon's own effects, Howling Memory Boost, etc., then Azulongmon swings in for your opponent's entire security stack, which means if you have even just 1 more body on the field, they can swing for game and you win, which is our win con. This is what we're aiming to do with the deck. We're aiming to swing with Azulongmon and smash the opponent's face in with him. So yeah, Majuramon, really solid. Definitely a 4 of. When we first saw this card revealed, we thought, oh, the inherited effect's kind of, not going to be consistent because if they go too wide and you can't strip all their sources, it's going to be difficult. But generally, it's not happening. Like, Gizemon throws out like bodies that are sourceless, they don't digivolve. Gabu Bond is just a bunch of Gabumons. They don't have sources unless they digivolve in the raising area. If your opponent doesn't have Digimon at all and they're trying to avoid being stripped because they're camping in the raising area, it still counts, so he can still restand. He's just absolutely incredible in this meta where people aren't digivolving widely enough to actually stop him. And the second level 5 we're playing is Matt Galgamon. A lot of people are playing Chris Paildramon in this slot, and the reason that they're playing Chris Paildramon is because, again, it's trashing Digivolution cards, you get the cheap costs from Gomamon and Bluecomon, but what I found was Chris Paildramon was kind of like, Azulongmon's already swinging for like 2-3 damage per swing, and that's already clearing your opponent out. If you're swinging for an extra security attack, it's not really doing much extra. So I cut it in favour of Matt Galgamon, who has a lot more utility for the deck. So its effect is you can Digiburst 2 to return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to the owner's hand. So this can be really good to sort of prevent your opponent from having a rookie on the field to warp next turn. It can bounce back system on blanks to prevent blocks. It can bounce back actual blockers that are level 4 and let you swing in for max damage if you don't have the Ikakumon in source. And then on top of that, the source effect gives you 2000 DP if you have a Tamer. So not only are you getting the utility of the bounce, if you don't need to use the bounce, you're Azulongmon swinging for 15 so long as you have Sora and Joe. So yeah, just really nice for the utility of being able to swing over the big guys in security and be safe about it, as well as bouncing your opponent's Digimon back to their hand to sort of slow them down and tempo them. Last but not least, our level 6s. And level 7. So we're playing, obviously, for Azulongmon. He's our win condition. So for those of you who don't know, Azulongmon is a 5-cost Digivolution, which sounds bad on paper, but in practice it's really good because it's when Digivolving effect says it trashes the bottom Digivolution card of all your opponent's Digimon. So you're triggering your Gomamons and your Bulucomons to reduce that cost. And then on top of that, for every Digimon your opponent has with no Digivolution cards, gain a memory. So not only are you reducing the cost with Gomamon and Bulucomon, but he's likely already 3-cost by himself just because your opponent's likely to have 2 Digimon with no sources. So you can make him like a 1-cost Digivolution and he's an OTK machine, so, super duper valuable. His second effect is During your turn, for every one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, it gains security attack +1. So like I was saying before, you put this on top of Majuramon, your opponent has 2 Digimon with no Digivolution cards, you swing for 3 damage, you swing for 2 damage, their security stack is gone, and you can win the game from there. So yeah, win con of the deck, no reason not to play 4 of him. I've seen so many Japanese lists play like 3 or 2 Azulongmon and like max out on Hex Bomb, but Azulongmon's the win con. You want to play as many copies of him as possible so you can see him when you need him, and you can easily push the game the moment you evolve into him. He's so good. And then for our backup, we're playing 2 Hexablamon. Hexablamon's okay. He sort of prevents your opponent from pushing with their sourceless Digimon that they can throw out. It sort of stalls the opponent so they can't chip away at you. The downside to him is kind of passive. So the opponent, if you just Digivolve into him and put him out on the board, the opponent's very likely to just drop down some removal and kill it. The good side to this is there isn't a lot of removal right now. So Gabubon's main form of removal is Gabubon, and he only hits level 5s. And the other form of removal from Gabubon is Rattlestar, and so long as you keep your board quite thin, you don't have to worry about Hexablamon dying to that. And second, Gizemon. His only removal at the moment that they seem to be using is Judgment of the Blade, and if you've stripped Gizemon clean, then you have nothing to worry about. Hexablamon can't die to him, so Hexablamon's kind of solid right now. In a meta where there is a lot of removal, I might replace this, and I would probably consider Metal Garurumon from BT1. Why do I consider Metal Garurumon from BT1? Because he is absolutely amazing value and everyone overlooks him. So Metal Garurumon, what he does is when you attack with him, you get to play a level 4 or lower Digivolution card as another Digimon without paying its memory cost. So this lets you like just slot out a random blocker from underneath your stack. It lets you slot out Gomamons, evolve over them a second time, and reuse their effects twice in a turn. And it synergizes really well with part of our win con, Majuramon, because he can restand and do it a second time without needing the Garurumon BT1. So yeah, if the meta was more heavily removal focused and I wanted to go more heavy into combo, I'd replace these 2 Hexablamons with 2 Metal Garurumon BT1. So that's just something to bear in mind, that Hexablamon's good right now, but he may fall out of favour. And then last but not least, we're playing 2 Omnimod from BT5. Why are we playing this? Well, like I said before, Azulongmon clears out your opponent's entire security stack, and then you can just evolve Omnimod on top of it and swing for game. This basically just makes our OTK 1 turn faster, which is really good. And he's just nice in a pinch as well against the security control decks and against the 3 Musketeer decks that are going around as like rogue decks right now. Because he can survive them by trashing his level 6 Digivolution cards. He can survive the removal, which is really, really nice just for the staying power on the field. So yeah, 2 Omnimons just for the utility of being able to swing a turn sooner, really. So on to the options. So I'm playing 5 memory boosts. I'm playing 3 Howling memory boost and 2 blue memory boost. So everyone knows what blue memory boost does. It's the same as every single colour's memory boost. You reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 blue Digimon from among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order, and then it delays on the field, so you can trash it from the field, and then gain 2 memory on the next turn or on a future turn if you so wish. This is just really nice to sort of search out your combo pieces. If you're missing a rookie, missing a champion, missing your mega, etc., you can search them off the top of your deck really easily, especially when it's revealing 4 cards. It's very likely that one of your pieces is going to be in those 4 cards, so it's just a very solid 2 of. It's nice for the early game because it can find you your pieces, but in the late game it's sort of a brick, which is why we're only playing 2. It's nice to see in the early game, but if you see too many, it's bad. And we'd much prefer to see our other memory boost because it has so much more utility for this deck. So our other memory boost, which we're playing 3 of, Howling Memory Boost, which comes in BT6. What it does is, when you play it, it trashes 2 Digivolution cards from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. So that triggers Galgamon, it triggers Bluekomon, it triggers Kiaramon. So it's not a 3-cost card. It's going to be 2 cost, 1 cost, sometimes even 3, and it's going to draw you a bunch of cards when you play it. So in the mid to late game, this basically becomes better than Blue Memory Boost because you dig through your deck using Kiaramon, which is really nice. And then, as if that wasn't decent enough, one of your opponent's Digimon without Digivolution cards can't attack or block until the end of the opponent's next turn. So you can play this and stop your opponent blocking if you don't have Ikakumon, which is really nice. Or you could play it on, say, Gizemon and prevent it from attacking your Digimon, prevent it from evolving into an Omnimod BT5 and swinging over your rested Azulongmon, for example. You could use it on a Galgamon that's on the field and prevent it from warping and swinging at you next turn. So yeah, it's just really, really nice utility. Yeah, I'd probably play 4 if there was more room. In fact, I might even eventually end up cutting 1 blue memory boost and playing 4 Howling because it's that good. It's just such good tempo power, just being able to stop your opponent from attacking for like 1 cost and then getting 2 memory back on the next turn by delaying it. So you basically just gaining memory off of this. It's basically a better Hammer Spark, but slower in a sense. And the meta is quite slow at the moment, so we don't really need the Hammer Sparks, and this is just so much better. So yeah, but for that reason, we're playing 3 Howling Memory Boost. And last but not least, to round off the build, we are playing 4 Sora Takenouchi and Kido Joe. So this is the blue Tamer from BT5, and it says if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards, you gain 2 memory at the start of your turn. So it incentivizes your opponent to either sit in the breeding area and not get stripped of sources, in which case your Majuramon's online anyway, and you can like double swing with Hex Bomb or something, or double swing with the Azulongmon for 2 damage and just sort of tempo from there. More likely, your opponent's going to pull something out of the breeding area and start swinging and putting bodies on the board, which you can strip bare quite easily with all of the source strip effects that you have in the deck, and you'll be getting 2 memory at the start of your turn. And if they digivolve the Digimon that are on their field, you can strip the sources with your effects and gain memory off Galgamon and Bluecommon anyway, so it's a lose-lose situation for your opponent. And then second effect, when one of your blue Digimon attacks, you can suspend this Tamer to trash the bottom 2 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. So not only does this give you value at the start of your turn, and give your opponent the incentive to build up multiple stacks on their fields so that you can strip them, it also strips for itself, which means that you can swing with like an Elecmon or your Azulongmon and just strip bare the last little dregs of your opponent's field that haven't been stripped bare yet. Or if your opponent has like a really big stack that they've just brought out of raising area, you can like strip it bare with a couple of Sora and Joes, or even 1 Sora and Joe and a couple of other source strip effects like Howling Memory Boost. So just amazing utility, amazing memory generation. It's super good. I would never play less than 3. I'm playing 4 right now because I have the space, but it very well could become a 4th Howling Memory Boost if I find that 4 is too much. The other reason we're playing 4 is because of the Map Galgamon. If you see it more consistently, you'll get the 2000 DP boost more efficiently, so that's the other reason we're playing 4. So that's the deck profile. So a little bit, I've gone over a small amount about what the actual win con of the deck is, so I'll just talk about the ideal stack of cards you want for the OTK combo. So you want Wanyamon at the bottom, because if your opponent has 2 Digimon with no Digivolution cards, sorry if you can hear the motorbike going past, you gain 2000 DP, so he can swing over the Omnimons and etc. in the security stack. You want any rookie. You don't really care if it's Gomamon or Bluecommon really. They just kind of help, so that it makes things cheaper. Generally, you want these 2 in your safe blocker stacks, and you probably evolve Elecmon or Modoki Betamon up. Occasionally, it'll be Gomamon. You want Ikakumon so that he's unblockable. This is vital because of all the blockers that are in the meta right now. You want Majuramon to restand, and you want Azulongmon, of course, to enable your OTK. That's the main stack of the combo. And then, obviously, on your field throughout several turns, you'll build up boards which have Kiaramon, Bluecommon, and Grizzlymon or Sealamon in them. Same with Kiaramon, Gomamon, Grizzlymon, Sealamon. You just want them sat on your field, generating constant advantage for every time you evolve into Majuramon, every time you evolve into Azulongmon, every time you swing with Hex Bomb, every time you use Sora and Joe, etc. They'll just be generating huge amounts of value for you, so that you can keep building field presence and keep pushing back against your opponent. So that's the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. If you liked the deck profile and you want to see more deck profiles, feel free to leave a comment below and leave a like on the video so that I know to make more. I was thinking of maybe starting a Deck Doctor series, so if there's a deck that you want to learn to build, I can start making a video to build it with you step by step, starting with like what the win con is, then building into like utility cards, etc., and like showing you how my thought process works when I build decks like this. And if you'd find that useful, just let me know. I'll start making some of that. And if you want to see more content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have Digimon role-playing games every Friday and Sunday, and I occasionally upload deck profiles like this, which I am intending to do more of, and I'm intending to do some more gameplay videos, hopefully in the near future too, when I get a bit more time from work. I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and I'll see you next time.